Hey Nikki, good to see you. I'm wondering with this pandemic and the amount of time that y'all been able to spend together, as well as the short non-conference schedule, how difficult has that made for you as a coach to implement what you want and for your girls to kind of get what you're wanting? Because you usually have 13, 15 games of non-conference schedule heading into SEC play, and you're jumping in against the top
Right.
10 team in Kentucky in the second game, things like that. Has that made things even more difficult for you to get what you want from the girls at this point?
I think what's been difficult is just we don't have those games underneath our belt. We didn't have a exhibition game and all of those things. So, we need that. Especially with the new system, defensive philosophy, offensive philosophy. We need that, and the more we can play together, the more we'll experience things. It'll help the young players that did not play as much last year. And I've said it, I have 4 players on this team that played significant minutes. Besides our top 3 and Rakia, Maya, and Jessica, then you have Zarya that played 13 minutes. After that, it's a significant drop off. So they need experience. They need games, and we need games just to continue to build that chemistry. But every time we get a chance to play, it's important. I talk to our kids a lot about just continuing to protect our bubble because we don't want to be affected, by COVID. So we're very fortunate, knock on wood, that we're still able to play, and we need that.
Up next, we'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Nikki, I think coming into the season between with Chloe transferring and Jordan graduating, it was about 9 rebounds a game. Y'all were losing, and I guess right now Madison and Jemiah are averaging about 10 combined a game. I guess just in terms of replacing that production on the boards, what have they kind of been able to give you from the guard spots, and how much have they helped you guys kind of be able to rebound the way you guys are at least right now?
Well, I think when you lose Chloe and Jordan, that's experience, that's stability, that's people that know the league inside and out because they played in it. And they did bring some intangibles. When you have Chloe and Jordan, it relieves a lot of pressure off of a Rakia Jackson. Not a whole lot of attention is paid to her because you got to pay attention to, other players. But they did intangible things. They rebounded the ball. Chloe got rebounds. She was an intangible player, someone that spaced the floor. That's hard to replace. And then you had Jordan, who was another defensive stopper. Her mind, when she wanted to defend, she could lock up anybody, whether they were big or small, and she could go get a bucket anytime she wanted. When somebody else was off, Jordan time was Jordan time, and it was very consistent. When you watched them play last year, she was the X factor. She was huge for them. But with our players, in Mingo and Madison, they're high motor kids. So you expect them to get in there and rebound, and we expect that from them, and they do that pretty consistently. It's the timing of the rebound. I mean, they try to go quick, and we may not need it right then, and it's clogging up the paint, but that's just them, understanding that and getting a feel for when someone is going to shoot the ball on the release. But I like the fact that they get in there and rebound. We need more rebounders. We need more people with that mentality to go rebound.
Up next, we'll go to Joel Coleman.
Hey, Nikki, I know that the other night you were mentioning about your team's energy and things in the second half and down the stretch in particular, and you were talking about reviewing practice and kind of seeing if things need to be different. Just curious, in kind of looking back, is there anything that's changed as far as how you've done practice, or has anything shifted, I guess, since Sunday?
Well, definitely. I thought, back to the last game, I thought our pace of play was compromised, and we're a team that likes to play on the run, and when you do that, it kind of stifles you a little bit. And I think, again, our bench is very limited. We did not, have Zarya. We hadn't had her pretty much all year long. But, at the same time, when you start to get in a rotation and practicing, it's like, okay, but she was not available. And, at the same time, it's just us just being mindful of our practices. So just going shorter, with our practices and just, trying to get in what we need to get in. When they have a day off, we don't touch them on their day off. Just trying to really get them to lock into what we need to do, whether it's watching the scout, us going over the scout, and then getting out on the floor to where they're not, as drained. But I will tell you, they did some things on game day that I hadn't seen. I mean, they were at the gym at 9:00, and I'm sitting here thinking, what are you guys doing here? And I think because they started so early, they ran out of gas when it came to game time. So, that's not something we want to do. We want to just continue to stay in routine with our kids. Like, you don't have to come to the gym early. Just stay in routine, even though I know it was against a rival team.
Let's go back to Robbie.
This is an Alabama team that beat this team last year, and they returned a lot of that production from a year ago too. Much improved team and adding some big pieces. What have you seen from this team this year, and what are they going to bring to the table?
Well, first of all, Christy is an excellent coach. They are who they are, and they do what they do. 64% of their offense goes through their three players, and they understand how to get them the ball, when and where, and their role players play off of them. And their role players are good, but we know that we have to, be able to handle their big three. They're going to mix up their defenses. They are a team where they're going to be very strategic in their shot selection. They don't take a lot of bad shots, but they're very poised. They're very experienced, and they are better. And we got to be ready. We got to handle their changing defenses. Areas that we got to continue to get better at and do what we do is pace of play. That's going to be key for us. And then our ability to rebound the basketball.
Let's go back to Ben.
Nikki, I know we've talked a lot about the three-point shooting with this team. I think I looked at the numbers today, and y'all are on pace for like 150 more three-pointers this year than last year. Just curious, like in terms of that and what you want from your players, like to you, like is there one thing that you point to of what is a good time to take a three-pointer? Is there, what is a good shot, I guess?
A good shot is a shot that's uncontested, an open shot, but also understanding time and score. In the Ole Miss game, I thought we missed open shots. And those were not the time to take those shots just because we missed like 7 or 8 in a row. And granted, they were open, but we were fatigued. So now we got to do something different and recognize the mismatch and just making our team aware of that. I'm not saying that those are bad shots. Those were not the shots to take at that time. And those are things that we individually have to be aware of it because the game is going, and I know they're in the game. And sometimes you're in the flow of the game, but you have to recognize. But I want our kids to be ready to score this ball from the outside. When you got someone like Jessica Carter down low that's playing well, she's going to clean up for you as long as we understand when that shot is coming and it's an expected shot. But for the most part, our shots have been good. We just have to continue to understand, when we missed a couple in a row, we can do something different. We have enough in the bag to where we can do something different.
Just a quick follow-up, and kind of to that, I mean, just as, players are learning your system and what you want to do offensively and things like that, I guess, what do you kind of see as this offense when it's clicking on all cylinders? How do you kind of characterize it?
I think it's an offense where anybody can score. The ball finds who should score. When we're getting to the third and fourth side, I mean, that's where we should be able to punish people and we should be in position. But I think it's an offense that allows everybody to be a part of it, makes us hard to guard. When everybody is clicking on all cylinders, we have penetrators, we have outside shooting, we have post-up game by multiple people. We can go multiple directions, again, especially when we're getting to the third and fourth side in our offense, which is something that we have to continue to do and be better at.
Let's go back to Robbie.
I know the transfer portal is kind of the big thing right now in sports, and it seems like it's really increased as far as the SEC is concerned. Teams are starting to level the playing field from the bottom up across the board. Have you seen that change over the years after being, a player at Tennessee and assistant coach in this league? Do you feel like the playing field is a little more level in the SEC, and has the transfer portal been a big part of that?
Oh, without question, the transfer portal is huge. It's just another recruiting tool. I think you're seeing a lot of young players that have not committed are starting to commit. So you're seeing more 22s and 23s starting to commit just because of the transfer portal. But I think it's you got to get the right pieces. We now know that it's the transfer portal is something that this spring people are going to be trying to pick from the litter and who can help you immediately. Because it you're getting players that have played at this level or players, at the mid-major level that have played at a high level and the best on their team, and you're trying to see how they can help you right off the bat. So yes, with the transfer portal, it has allowed the SEC to be very dominant, and you have more depth at every position. And unfortunately, we don't have as many transfers, but those teams that do, you can tell that their teams are better because of it.
Let's go to Courtney Robb.
Coach, hi. A couple weeks ago, you mentioned that your team was not playing at the level of basketball that they can achieve currently. At what point in the season do you expect your team to be playing at that the highest level that you would expect them to be?
Well, I think you're gonna see us playing our best basketball in February. We'll have more games underneath our belt. We'll have more practices. And things like that. We're in a routine now where we're off on Mondays. We got 2 days to prep for a team. So you're going to see that because we'll be playing more games. So that is my goal. And I've talked to our kids, every day we want to continue to get better. Every game we want to get better in something. Defense, rebounding, whatever the case may be. We now know that we're a team that we would like to play on a run. And teams are going to try to slow us down. That has happened the last 2 games. So we've had to make some adjustments with that to where we're able to still play the way we want to play.
Let's go to Tyler Horka.
Nikki, you guys had a couple games in SEC play where you shot a really good percentage from the free throw line, but overall it's obviously been a bit up and down, and I think you guys ranked pretty low in the NCAA, all things considered. Just curious if you've seen steps taken by your team to kind of be better in that area, and what are some things maybe you've done differently since the start of the season, or has it all been kind of the same? It's just something you think they can work out?
Yeah, I just think free throws is something that we do it every day. I think we're improving, every game and hitting the ones that we need to hit. So I've challenged the players that we know that are going to consistently get fouled to improve, and they have. Rakia has improved hers. Jessica has improved hers. So, those 2 people go to the line quite a bit. Jemiah Mingo-Young, she goes to the line quite a bit. So the players that are consistently going to the line, they have to step up and hit those free throws. And then our point guards, Maya, down the stretch, she's going to get fouled. And, she hit 2 big free throws for us the last game. So, we have to hit free throws on the road and definitely at home.
Let's go back to Ben.
Nikki, you mentioned the bench. Just in terms of Zarya's status, do you expect her to be able to go on Thursday, or what's kind of her update, if there is any update there?
I have not got an update. It's still up in the air, game time decision. It was really good to see her, do some light things yesterday. So, we'll see what happens today. But again, I've always said when I get the okay, she'll be ready to rock and roll.
And kind of to that, in terms of the bench, I know Kenisha's been with you guys for a little bit now. Is there any kind of, what's kind of her timetable in terms of maybe getting her into some game action? Is that something that you hope to see, won't see? Is there any kind of idea on what she might see this year? Yeah,
I think, Kenisha really started with us, right after, Georgia. So that, she traveled on the road. So she hasn't, she's been with us, but she hasn't really had a whole lot. We do have a day off on Mondays. So for her, it is just continuing to get stronger in the weight room, learning our offense and defensive system. And when she's comfortable and when we're comfortable, then we'll be ready to play her. But the goal is for her to just get her feet wet and get a chance to, learn our system, get acclimated to our culture, and all of those things.